Hello, everybody. Wow, it's been a long time since I have gone on a live session. Hopefully, I'm not muted. Hopefully, everybody can hear. For those of you that can hear, please, if you could put a comment down below, let me know that you can hear me. I would greatly appreciate it. Let me just plug in my laptop so it doesn't die on me. So today's session, we are going to be going over the industry trends. What is happening in the industry? What is happening with trade right now? What is happening with is our industry getting better? That's the answer. That's the question that a lot of us have. Is our industry getting better? And what are we looking forward to in 2026? What signs are there? And can we make any decisions based on the first 14 days of January? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the trucking industry trends. We're going to talk about the van, the reefer, and the flatbed division. We're going to see what the national average freight rates are. For those of you that have questions, you're more than welcome to ask away. And we're going to be talking a lot about the trends. We're going to talk about what to look forward to in 2026. We'll talk about the positives, and we're going to talk about what is happening in our industry. So let's get to it. So we're going to open up right now. If you guys can see my screen, we are talking about the van, reefer, and the flatbed division. So currently, right now, if we can zoom in a little bit into the van division, yes. So you can see how October, November, and December, how they closed off. And then we have the first 14 days of January. So I thought that January is going to start coming down. I thought that by now it would be, it would definitely, come a little bit closer to December, but it looks a lot stronger. January in the van division is currently sitting at $2.36 per mile. Now, over the course of the next probably a week or two, I do expect that to come down a little bit, probably around the 230, 232. But you can see December even closed off very, very strong. So that is in the van division. Soon we're going to go into pay statements and see how this affects pay statements. But we're going to get into the flatbed division. You can see here the flatbed division has been pretty steady at $2.58 per mile. Not so much change over there. You can see October, November, December, pretty steady, has about a 10 cents fluctuation plus minus. But if you look at the reefer division, I mean, this is where we see a huge spike in the reefer division. I mean, check this out. October, November, December at 270 per mile as a national average. And currently right now for the month of January, $2.87. Now, how does this affect pays? How does this affect owner operators? And is this the time for you to jump in and become an owner operator? For a lot of people have held off on opening up their own authorities. A lot of people, are working for other companies and they're waiting for better days to come. Is this the better days that have come? Is this a good sign? So when you have 4 months consecutive, both in the reefer division, you'd see October, November, December, January, 4 months of consecutive rise. That is a really, really, really good sign. Now, if you go back to the van division, you can see that we have also 4 months, even though they're small, but 4 months of consecutive rises. Now, is it a little bit too early? We are in the 14 days of January. If January finishes off at $2 and 32, 33 cents per mile, that is a wonderful sign, and it's so much better than 2.07 or 2.09. Now, I'm going to show you some pay statements right now, just so you guys can see how does this impact owner operators, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you an owner operator's pay statement, and we're going to talk about 2025. Okay, so we're going to go into the pay statement for 2025. I'm going to look at the numbers. Let me just share it with you guys. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's happening with my computer, but let me just make this a little bigger. How do I pin this? Full screen layout. Okay. How do I make this bigger? I can't see. All right. So, Give me just 2 seconds, guys. I am having technical difficulties. I'm going to open it up somewhere else just so I can see. All right, 2 seconds. I'm just opening up the Excel sheet here. All right, I got it. Okay, so owner operators currently right now that are working in the 2.02, so the tab at the bottom, we're going to go for the national average freight rates of 2025. So the entire year of 2025, if we look at the national average freight rates, you can see over here that the 2.02 is what we closed off the year for 2025. Okay. Now, if somebody ran 128,000 miles, so I went and did a test on my owner operators, they did anywhere between 110,000 miles all the way to 140,000 miles. Sorry, until 135,000 miles, but this was 128,000 miles at $2.02 per mile, gives you $258,000. Okay. So 250. Hey, can you send me the address? Um, Sorry, guys, my daughter is texting me from the airport. I have to give her an address or else she's going to get stuck. Roosevelt. All right. So, 258,000 gross sales is what an owner operator can produce doing 128,000 miles. So, you could see over here that if you had your own authorities, you would have to pay for your dispatch fee, your factoring fee, your fuel, tolls and bridges, your insurance, the dash cam, and ELDs. So, this is where a lot of the questions are coming in. Hey, Ronan, when do I get my own authorities? Hey, Ronan, when should I start with? Getting my own authorities and dispatching myself? Should I even dispatch myself? So you can see here the breakdown and the deduction. You can see here the dispatch fee, the factoring fee. You can see here a dispatch fee at 5%. You can see the factoring fee at 2.5%. You can see the fuel, 6.25 miles per gallon, and a national average at $3.40 per gallon. That's $69,632 on fuel. Now, tolls and bridges, we've estimated that it would cost $3,800. Insurance is $1,850 per month. Multiply that by 12. An owner operator would have paid $22,000. The dash cam and the ELDs, they're probably going to cost you around 65 cents. $65 per month. That's going to be $780 per month, per year. The load board subscription, DAT has a subscription, probably around $150 per month. It's going to run you about $1,800 to do that. Registration plates is going to cost you approximately $2,950. Accounting and bookkeeping services, guys, this is extremely important, and I cannot emphasize this enough. There are some owner operators and small fleets and owner operators that dispatch themselves that are running in the blind. They don't know how much money they're making. Okay. This is extremely important. If you ever want access to funding, if you ever want the bank's money, if you ever want, really, really low interest on your financing, if you ever want loans, if you ever want anything that has to do with the banking world, one of the things that they ask for is your statements, your account prepared statements. Now, there is a bookkeeping and accounting service out there. It costs $350 per month, and you get your own personal administrative assistant, and you also get your own bookkeeper. So the administrative assistant will keep your QuickBooks up to date live. Every time you fill up, she'll see the transaction. Every time you pay for anything through your credit cards, she will see the transaction and she will categorize it properly. Now, you will have every single month a profit and loss statement. And if you have a profit and loss statement on a monthly, then you will very easily be able to get not only loans, but extremely cheap financing. And you will be able to to see crystal clear how much money you're making and what is your net profit at the end of the month. Now, this particular owner operator had a 2022 Cascadia. They paid 2450 per month, and for the whole year they paid $29,400 for that month. Now, repairs and maintenance is not here, so it's something that you do need to account for. Now, this owner operator also has a trailer. They have a dry van. They pay $850 per month for that dry van. That's $10,200. So total earnings that the driver took home, okay, from $258,000. He had $164,000 in deductions. $94,200 is what this owner operator that dispatches himself, what they made in all of 2025. Now, again, these numbers are brutal. If you guys, I mean, I'm sure you guys all know that 2025 was the worst year for the was the worst year for our industry. Okay, so if our industry currently right now, so I did the mock statement exactly like this. If our current industry right now is currently making $2.36 per mile, which is what the national average shows, then the statement becomes very different. All of a sudden, in 2026, you might end up grossing out $302,000 instead of the 250 that was in 2025. Now, the dispatch fee, it goes based on your gross earnings. Your factoring fee is 2.5% of your gross earnings. The fuel consumption, it goes based on how many miles you're going to produce. Now, I think here the calculation is wrong. Let me just do it quickly. How many miles? Oh, it's the same. Yes. So it's the same amount of mileage because we took 6.25 miles per gallon and we took $3.40 as a national average for fuel. Okay. Now, tolls and bridges, $3,800. You have the same registration. You have the same price for dash cams. You have the same price for the ELDs. Load board subscriptions are the same, whether the national average is 202 or $2.36. Now, I want you guys to see what big of a difference it has made in the net earnings in order to drive at $2.02 per mile, which was the national average in 2025 versus 2026, what could be the national average at $2.36. This might go higher, this might go lower, but this is what January is showing. So should I pull the trigger? This is what I get asked all the time. Should I pull the trigger? When do I get in? Ronan, please, for the last 2 years, I've had hundreds of emails. Is this a good time? Is this a good time? And I always said, no, it's not a good time. Be patient. Wait until you see. My rule of thumb was 3 consecutive months on the increase on the rate per mile. We currently are sitting at, maybe this is going to be the 4th consecutive month. You can see that there's more than enough money over here in the net earnings. There's more than enough money there in order for you to be profitable. So what do you need to do in order to get prepared? If this is you, if you're living in the US, you want to dispatch yourself, you want to get into it, you want to become an owner operator, you've been waiting for 2 years patiently, you are thinking about it, the one thing that I can recommend is, number one, you need to start with a dispatch service. Okay, so you need to be able to take a course, a dispatch course for yourself. Why a dispatch course? Because the dispatch course is going to teach you how to dispatch your own truck. You never want to be dependent on somebody else. You never, even though there's a lot of people that are using the dispatch service, you still want to know how to dispatch yourself. You don't want to be dependent on anybody else out there except yourself. So if a dispatch service is not good enough, or if you're not happy with their service, you know how to dispatch yourself. Plus, it's a little bit easier to dispatch yourself when everybody's calling you for your truck. So if you post your truck in Illinois, a lot of people are going to be calling you about your truck. When you post a truck in North Carolina, people are going to be calling you for your truck because you're going to post it on the load boards. Now, dispatching is very, very important in order to know how to do it yourself. Yes, you can outsource it. Yes, you know, there's more than enough companies out there that provide that kind of service. It's a great service to have. You can demand a lot as an owner operator from a dispatch company. I personally feel that you need to know how to do it yourself to be ready for it. And when you see the increase or the rate per mile that you're happy with, I mean, if I saw January close off at 240 and then I saw another spike in February, that is your golden ticket. That is the time for you to get in. That is the time for you to start learning. Well, I think you should start learning how to dispatch yourself a little bit sooner. I want you guys to get ready. And then once you see that, then you start getting into the industry. So if you have any questions about the pay statements, if you have any questions about when is a good time to get in, if you're thinking of becoming an owner operator, this is valuable information for you. Don't, come into the industry when everything is tanked, everything's on the bottom. This is great signs, the fact that we saw 4 consecutive months here. So if anybody has any questions, you more put it down below. I'd like to elaborate a little bit more on. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe I can address. So some people in the comments are saying that it sucked for everyone. Absolutely. 2025 was a brutal year, probably the worst that I've seen. I actually thought 2024 was bad until I saw what 2025 came out to be. And then in 2025, I was like, my God, this is just by far the worst year. I've been at it since 2006. 2005 and 6 is when I came into the industry, and I have to say that 2025 was probably the worst year that I've seen. Yes, a lot of people are agreeing with me in the comments. But now that we've seen a spike, can there be profit made in trucking? Absolutely. I mean, we've learned how to grind the system. We've learned how to literally float, not making any money, just, cruising and waiting for better times. We've all been waiting for better times. And hopefully, it might be a little bit too soon, but I think the next week is going to make it or break it for us, our industry. There's a lot of companies that I talk to, a lot of companies that are on the cusp that are thinking of just shutting down the doors. We've seen so many bankruptcies over the last 6 months. At some point, I already stopped reporting about so many of them because, it's just every day somebody else. And these are not small companies. These are medium-sized companies. These are, fleets with 50 trucks, 100 trucks, 200 trucks, 500 trucks. It just, it didn't stop this year. So I want to ask if you guys have any questions. I would more than happy, to answer them. Fuel being down is very nice. Absolutely. I mean, think about what has happened to fuel. We've seen it go up from 450, 440, 430 as a national average. 390, 380. Right now, the national average, I think, is sitting at around 3.45, which is finally, it's giving everybody a breathing space. Is it possible to be an owner operator and a freight broker agent at the same time? It is possible, but you should be careful because there are some freight brokers, the second that they see that you have a license for freight brokerage, they might not give you the work, or they're afraid that you might double broker their work. So if you are going to do it, just be mindful of that. Any other questions, guys? Put them in the comments. Don't be shy. Ask away. Lanes and profitabilities. I mean, if you stick to the Midwest region, to the Southeast region, you are going to do just fine for yourself. Reefer shipments, if the reefer rates continue to be the way they are right now at the 280 mark, that is a golden ticket. I mean, investment in a reefer is $100,000. So what's going to happen? Things tend to move in the trucking industry fairly fast. So what happens is, if you're going to see 2-3 months of this, right away, you're going to see the cost of used equipment is going to skyrocket. Okay. Right now, I would say 2020, a 4-year-old or 5-year-old Cascadia, you can probably pick it up for about $50,000-$40,000. If things start shifting in the right direction, the cost of the used equipment is going to go up to about $65,000. It's going to go up really fast, really quick with freight rates. And then you're going to have all these guys that are going to try to increase their fleet sizes overnight. And the correct thing to do is probably what a lot of companies have done is actually decrease their fleet size and not purchase any new equipment and just hold off on the new purchases. Let things stabilize again. Let things get into the green. There's so many trucking companies that have lost money nonstop. Okay. So there's a question over here. How long is our dispatch course? So the dispatch course is about 10 hours. It is 10 modules. Each module is about an hour. and I wish I had the course overview over here, but there's currently probably over about 550 students that have completed the dispatch training course, and you got to just read the reviews. I mean, they're phenomenal. It took me 6 months of my life to put this course together, and I couldn't be happier with it. For those of you that are, oh, here's the modules, guys. So let's just open this up. Yeah, so I have the module number 1 is introduction to the trucking industry. Module number 2 is regulations and authorities. Module number 3 is technology for trucking. Module number 4 is the role of a dispatcher. Module number 5, documents to move a shipment. Module number 6 is the hours of service in trucks. And then comes the module 7, how to load a trailer properly. Module number 8, the cost of running a truck. Very, very important. Module number 9, how to book a load. And module number 10 is the cross-border. So for those of you that are interested in Canada and the US. It took me 6 months to put this course together, and you have to read the reviews. They're coming in really, really positive reviews from people. I think that you guys should all just take a few minutes. If you are interested in the course, take a few minutes and read the reviews. A lot of people are asking about booking consultations with me or guidance in our industry. So I'll be more than happy to I'm more than happy to talk to you guys about the industry. If you guys have any questions or thinking of getting into it, I probably booked more consultations than ever in the last 2 months about dispatch services. So there's a lot of money that you can make in dispatch services. Dispatch services is a great way for you to, there's a lot of owner operators that need good dispatchers out there. And some people are just getting into it, dispatching 7, 8, 9 trucks. 5% dispatch fee on 7, 8, 9 trucks. You can do the math yourself. But that's probably around $1,000 per truck. Multiply that by 8, 9 trucks. That's $9,000 per month. Very profitable, very lucrative. And as the rates start coming up, the gross revenues will come up. So you'll probably get $1,200, $1,500 per truck per month. Again, multiply that by 10 trucks. That's $15,000. So, a lot of consultations I've booked just on dispatch services and people wanting to have wanting to open up their dispatch services. Are you situated in Vaughan, Ontario? So I physically myself right now, I am in Florida, came here with my family for the month. And then I'll be back up, first week of February back in Toronto. But yes, our head office is in Concord, Ontario. We have another office in Moncton, New Brunswick. We have presence in the US and Atlanta, Georgia. And now I'm looking to maybe do something over here down south closer to Miami, Florida. So that's really where I am right now physically. If there are people in the US or here down south, feel free to reach out to sponsorship@ettransport.ca. If any fleet owners are here, I'd love to come out and see you guys and meet with you guys. What else can I say? Any other comments about our industry? Is anybody else feeling that the rates have gone up? I'd love to hear some of the comments. All right, so I see that there's no more comments. So for those of you that, if there are no more comments coming in, no more questions, I'll just wait another 30 seconds and see if there are any more comments coming in. If there are no more comments, then guys, if you enjoyed this video about the market, please guys, give it a thumbs up. Let the algorithm do its thing. With the more comments, the more thumbs up there are, the better it is for, the more this video is going to get pushed out to guys that are interested in this content. 24 years old. So here's some comments are finally coming in. I'm 24 years old and got some experience in trucking. Can I start with buying my own truck and will it be profitable? So do I recommend, if you are a newly licensed driver, to buy a truck? No, I do not. I recommend that you work as a company driver, you wait your year to 2 years, then you become an owner operator. Have I seen guys that get their license and become an owner operator right away? Yes, I have seen it. That's not the way I would do things. I would learn the ropes and then become an owner operator. But I also have seen guys that are successful that just become owner operator from day one. How does a dispatch service work? I feel like you have to give a bunch of trust to dispatch service, access to personal information. How does that work? So a dispatch service has to book loads on your name. A dispatch service has to use your credentials. Yes, you would need to build a trust thing first because you would give them access to your company profile. They would book loads on your behalf. A lot of the times, the dispatch services, they're obviously calling from your company because they can't book the loads on their own behalf, and you need to give them access to your load boards. So yes, I mean, dispatch services, there definitely has to be a trust factor. For those of you that are looking for a reputable company, dispatch services, I've stumbled upon probably 5 different companies. I do have a form, or if you shoot me over an email, sponsorship@ettransport.ca, I'd be more than happy to connect you to a good dispatch service that I've heard of, and I've talked to the owners. And again, I would not recommend somebody who I wouldn't trust. So load link versus DAT. So I think if you're an American, you should be using DAT. If you are a Canadian, you should probably be using both. That's my honest opinion. Is the van business good or not, or is it worth it? Well, that's exactly what we're analyzing in this live session. I think the fact that we've seen an increase over the last 3 months, and hopefully we'll see another increase in January, I think that is a phenomenal sign for January. January, February, usually slower months. They're not the best of months. So far we have seen good signs, and I think 2026, I really hope that 2026 is going to be a magnificent year for trucking. So make sure you're not late to the party. Make sure that if you are thinking about getting in, at least be ready. Make sure you've done your dispatch course. Make sure you know what it is that you need in order to open up your own authorities. If you need any guidance, any help, you're more than welcome. If you have any questions, you can book me even in 15-minute consultations, 15-minute windows. I could put the link below. Hey, Ronan, I was applying as an owner operator 2 times, but they refused me from Calgary. Salim, I don't know why. We are very particular with the owner operators that we hire at ET Transport. If you want to send another email, just do me a favor, send me an email and give me a little bit of background information about yourself, the year of the truck. Sometimes your truck is not good enough for us. Sometimes, our requirements are a little bit different than what you have. Your opinion in the market will get better just because the crackdown on drivers and fake brokers and companies. Yes. So, I mean, definitely there's been, the FMCSA, there's a lot of crackdown right now on fraudulent carriers. There's a lot of crackdown right now on fake brokers. There's a lot of crackdown on, companies are not as easily insured when they don't do things right. So there's a lot of people exiting the market. I see a ton of people exiting the market. And that's why it's, a lot of people are also shutting down. So there's a lot more work for everybody else. So Richard, 2015 Volvo D13 in good shape. What do you think about upgrading it, or should I just keep it? Honestly, I would basically look at if I were you, I would basically look at my repairs and maintenance for 2025. If that number is over $15,000, then my second question to you would be, what's your fuel consumption? If your fuel consumption is over 7.5 miles per gallon, it is a keeper. If it's under 7 miles per gallon, then you should most likely look into upgrading it. Okay, please don't look at oh my God, I just invested $3,000. Oh my God, I just invested $5,000. Owner operators get stuck in this. It's going to get better. It's going to be better, and it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. The older the trucks are, the more they break down. If it's a reliable truck, it's usually reliable, throughout. So I feel like you should ask yourself those questions, and based on the answers, you should decide whether or not it's a keeper or not. My battery is dying over here. Did somebody unplug my computer? No. Why is this not working? Sorry, guys. 30 seconds. Last thing I want is for my computer to die. The last thing I would want is for my computer to die on a live stream. Okay, so now we're plugged in. So if you have any other questions, guys, please ask away. We have been 29 minutes into this. Last comments. My last comments that I'm going to leave you with is, guys, if you feel like getting into the industry, this is a good time to keep your hands or your pulse on it. When the second you see that the market is trending up in the right way, it's going to start shooting real fast. It's not going to be a slow, it's not going to be slowly. It's going to shoot up. And I foresee the freight rates probably climbing up in the van division closer to 250, 255. I could see that happening over the next 3 months. Are you a straight trucks business as well? No, guys, I'm not in the straight trucks. I know nothing about straight trucks. Absolutely nothing about straight trucks, and I'm not going to pretend to know anything about straight trucks. I know about cross-border trucking, and I also know about inter-US trucking. That is my specialty, and that's pretty much what I know. I know on expansions. I know fuel cards. I know factoring companies, but not straight trucks. All right, guys, thank you very much for your attention. And if you can, guys, don't forget, give this thumbs up, put a comment down below. Am I ever thinking of branching out in the RGN market? Absolutely not my forte. I'm more of the vans, reefers, and traditional flatbeds kind of guy. So hopefully you learned something from this live session. I'm Ronan, and feel free to reach out to me if need be. All the best.